We gather today, each in our own home, with winter's bitter cold at our windows and doors. Having passed through the uncertainty of how we would gather today, here we are, held together by love and the warmth of this congregation. May this chalice light illuminate and warm your heart, enlighten your mind, and guide you in your life's journey. Let's sing together, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, uprising the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, grace set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning, everybody. It's Leora on the AV team, and we are having a moment of slide woes. So stick with us for just a couple of moments, and we'll have the story shortly.
It's been a second. We're brushing off our dust since we've done this.
I do have slides. Do you want me to share screen or no?
Yes, please.
Okay. I don't have them.
Well, if we don't have them at all, I'm happy to share our story without them this morning. I think it will be just as meaningful, and you could imagine the images in your mind. All right, let's do that. Good morning. My name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. Our theme this month is Liberating Love. And today we're exploring God and words and the meaning that we give both of those things. Our story this morning is called What is God? And it's by Eaton Boritzer, and it's illustrated by Robbie Morantz. I've adapted it a bit today to fit our time. What is God? That's a very good question. People of all ages and from all places want to know who or what God is. Maybe we can't talk to God or see God or smell them. Maybe we can only feel God, like we feel love or happiness or sadness. Maybe God is what you feel when you stand on a very high mountain and see the beautiful view all around you. Maybe God is what you feel when you listen to beautiful music. Or maybe God is the smallness that you feel when you look at a million stars at night. Maybe we can feel God in the thunder outside, or see them in the lightning across windows, or maybe even snowflakes today. Long ago, people thought that the sun was God, like a very strong or very bright light that shines all around us. But now we know that the sun is just one star, a small star in a big universe filled with many stars. A universe is everything that you can see when you look up at the stars at night. Some people think that God is an old man or a young woman or a mystical being that sits up in the sky and looks down on us. Some people think that God knows everything. And when some people talk about God, they look up at the clouds and they think that God is love. And other people think that God is nice. And some people think that God is angry. And some people think that God is angry with us when we do something wrong. And some people think that anger is love. The next time that you ride in an airplane, look out the window. You might see clouds, but you won't see God. Maybe God is an eternal mystery. Eternal means forever and ever. And a mystery is a puzzle with lots of pieces that you have to fit together. Some people think that there are teachers who have solved this puzzle and can tell us who or what God is. These people come from many places in the world, from all ages and all genders and all languages. Some of these teachers still live today, but most great teachers lived a long time ago. They passed on their teachings to their children, and their children passed them to their children, and so on and so on. That's how religion got started. A religion is a belief held by a group of people. Sometimes these people all understand God in the same way, and sometimes they don't. People in a religion usually share similar understandings with their teachers. People of the Christian religion understand God as teacher Jesus. People of the Jewish religion understand God like teacher Moses taught them. People of the Muslim religion understand God as Muhammad taught them. And people of the Buddhist religion understand God as Buddha taught them. There are many more teachers who have taught many more people about God, and there are many different ways to understand God. But if there are so many different ways to learn about God, then how will we ever solve this mystery of the puzzle of who or what God is? One of the ways that we might try to understand this mystery is by reading stories in holy books written by teachers who teach about God. Every religion is different, and people in every religion understand God in their own way. Sometimes people want others to understand God in the same way that they do. Sometimes people of one religion don't like people of another religion because their beliefs seem so different. And sometimes people start fights with others because they don't understand that most religions are really all kind of the same. You might wonder, what religions are the same? Well, most religions teach us to be kind to others and kind to ourselves. And most religions also say that we should tell the truth and not take things that aren't ours. There are many ways that religions are similar. And if people understood this, maybe there would be no fights about God. Some religions pray, and praying is a way to talk to God. When people pray, they try to tell God about what is important to them. Some people pray while standing, and other people pray while sitting, but you can pray anywhere. There are some people that believe that there are many gods, and there are some people that believe that you cannot talk about God or even pray about them. In this country, we are allowed to talk to God in any religion, and we are allowed to ask who or what God is. Does this mean that everything that everyone thinks about God is true? Does this mean that God is everything? Yes. God is everything great and small, far away and near, bright and dark, and everything in between. So when all people of all religions pray to God, their praying is to feel connection. Their praying is to feel love, to come to everyone that they know and don't know, so that all might feel happy together or apart. And if you really want to pray to God, you can think about the feeling that you feel that makes you feel a part of everything and everybody. So if you'd like to explore the feeling of what God is, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can close your eyes or find a space to focus right now. Take a moment and notice your breath. Notice it as it moves in and goes out. And think about how all of us are breathing together right now at the same time, but in different places. Think about how connected we all are, even though we are apart today. Think about how connected we are to people who aren't here in this space with us. And think about how those people are connected to people, and those people are connected to people. So many people that we are all connected to. So many beings all breathing together. And if you think about God as a feeling like we're sharing right now, then maybe you'll soon know the answer to the great mystery or the great puzzle for yourself. about who or what God really is. And open your eyes or come back into this space now. And so ends our story today. Blessed be. At this time, we typically get ready to send our young people to religious exploration classes, but I hope that they are having a snow day and maybe playing outside together today. But we will say the children's covenant, and if there are young people with us, you are welcome to say it with me today. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved.
Good morning again. I'm Chayla Sloper, the Congregational Life Facilitator, and I have today's announcements. And firstly, I just want to mark this moment in our congregation's history. You know, people who have lived in Bend a long time talk about the Columbus Day winds in whatever year that was. And I would like us all to just make a moment, etch this moment in our memories that on January 14th, 2024, we all met on Zoom. Some of us are old Zoomers during the pandemic, and some of us gathered here today have never been on Zoom together. So here we all are. So I'm not going to make a special greeting to those on Zoom. Hi, everybody. And so one of the things that also occurred to me is that we have the means of keeping the service going even in crazy wackadoodle conditions because of the support that the congregation receives. So this isn't introducing the offering, but I just do want to say that all of the ways we were able to come together today is in part because of the health, the financial health of the congregation that all of us are contributing to. So, with that, a special welcome to those who are with us for the first time. And we have a virtual visitor form in the chat that you can let us know that you're here. And this is a very unique day to be introduced to our congregation. We often like to say that no two services are alike, this one in particular. And so, one of the most exciting things coming up in the life of the congregation is the Article 2 uh, revision proposal. This sounds very arcane, but in the bylaws of the UUA, there is language that Unitarian Universalists have relied on, the 7 principles for giving sort of the guidelines of who we are in the world. And this language has been considered and worked. There's new language to replace or possibly amend that language in the bylaws. Beginning this Wednesday in the ACE, you can sign up for the discussions that will begin later that will begin in February. 2 of the values of the new articulation will be talked about at each discussion. So when the sign up comes, be sure to sign up for each of the sessions that you want to be involved in. So that'll be in the ACE. And then, of course, we will have a paper sign up at the kiosk as well. So this is really exciting. And everyone is invited to participate in these discussions, whether you're a member or not, whether you've been here a long time or not. Um, it's a really good opportunity to get together and see what it is that makes us who we are in the bigger um, whole Unitarian Universalist world. And then later, this will all be explained as well, but then at General Assembly, there will be a big vote. Anyway, it's a very exciting time. And this is where we get to engage democratic process, and all of our input will be considered by our delegates. So look for that, the Article 2 discussions that will begin in February. So also today, just to remind that those who are in the Membership Matters class, today we're calling it UUFCO Works. This is how we work together. We've moved the time to 12:30, and I did send out a link. I'll send it out again, plus a couple of handouts. And just to say that, yes, we're going forward with that class. That'll be at 12:30 on Zoom. Now, the men's fellowship is scheduled to meet on Tuesday. Who knows what the roads are going to be like by then? And we will communicate if there's a change in plans. Everybody who's on the men's fellowship email notice tag. So, with that, oh, Circle Supper, I also don't know the fate of for this week. I'll be in touch with Mark Torrey, who's been organizing that, and those who have signed up will let you know one way or the other. So, with that, I'm just going to say, may all of our hearts be grateful for the dry and relative warmth that we're enjoying each in our own places. And may there be blessings that go out from our lives today. Blessings.
Thanks, Chayla. It is good to be with you all today. And Chayla, that was about as good as an introduction to the offering as I was going to come up with. So I think that's a really good point, that it's because of the ongoing generosity of this community that when the pandemic hit, we were able to pivot and now have this new way and format of and medium of meeting with each other. So we have a slide. There will be no baskets passed today. There are no ushers joining us, but we have a slide that's text to give or website giving. And Debbie's going to play some more of that beautiful music for us. Well, whether we're in person, sharing space in a building with some folks on Zoom, or we are all on Zoom, we still share our joys and our sorrows and our gratitudes together as a congregation. And it is a joy to be with you all today. It's a strange thing. Like Jayla said, if you were here with us during the pandemic, then this has notes of something we experienced a long time ago and are returning to and can return to. So yeah, we're making it work, and amazingly well, because we have an amazing staff to make it work. Grateful for that. Hope you have a warm drink. If not, you're in your house, so you can just sneak off to the kitchen if you need. You know, we have a bike bell for our opening bell this morning. It's a scarf, not a stole. So we are just making it all work. And my joy is that I'm able to be here to figure this out. I'm in Boulder, Colorado after 2 days of eventful but unsuccessful travel back from Kentucky. So hopefully I'll find myself back in Bend and witness this snowstorm that you all are experiencing. But we do have some joys and sorrows. Feel free to write a joy or sorrow in the chat if you have one. And I'm going to read the joys and sorrows that were sent in during email this week. This is from Jenny McKee. She writes, so much sorrow fills my heart working at the emergency shelter and hearing the stories of those who come in from sub-zero temperatures for a warm place to stay and a hot meal. Gratitude that so many wonderful people have stepped up to help at the emergency shelter these past few days with their time and donations and love. We've had 21 people, at least that many, some names I don't recognize, that were from UUFCO that have helped out in the following roles of setup and cleanup and prepping breakfast, lunch, and dinner, serving meals, serving as room attendants, purchasing the food, donating the money, bedding, food, and staying overnight as hosts. We're grateful for our partnership and for Jenny McKee and Barbara Belzer's leadership for our homeless outreach, that we can make a partnership with First Presbyterian Church, who opens that emergency shelter when the temperature gets low enough that it becomes dangerous. So we've teamed up with them, and our people are showing up to help that really important work. Kai Openshaw shares that today would have been my brother's 77th birthday. He died 7 years ago of pancreatic cancer, 6 days after his birthday. I miss him so, especially in January, and hope that he found peace. Our thoughts are with you, Kai. Noreen Halberstadt writes, after a slew of different colored heart emojis, that my joy and gratitude is that our besties from Illinois did make it here this weekend. What? I don't know how'd they do that. And are getting to ski Bachelor Day and tomorrow as planned, with feet more of snow than before. It's always so good to be with your people. Distance may separate us, but that love just gets stronger and deeper and more meaningful as time passes. Love you, my chosen family. It's from Noreen. Glad you're with your people. One from Jim and Annis. Family time in San Diego near daughter Beth and family. Tonight, our granddaughter Jocelyn spends the night with us. Her 15-year-old brother has a house full of boys sleeping over. And then you got some smiley face emojis there too. You get emojis when you do this online. That's kind of cool. Joyce Brown shares a sorrow. My daughter and her family were involved in a serious car accident a week ago. All are physically okay except my daughter, who has 2 fractures in her lower back and some headaches. She will be off work for a month. Please send healing thoughts to Emily. Thank you. That's from Joyce Burke Brown. We'll definitely be keeping her in our heart and sending her that healing energy. And then finally, Diane Darling shares a joy to be celebrating my husband Scott's 66th birthday today, and grateful for this beautiful snow. I've heard it is beautiful out there, though maybe not at the airport. We'll see if they're shoveling at the airport yet. Well, you did not have a chance to light a candle on the sides of our sanctuary during our joys and sorrows and gratitudes sharing, but if you pass a candle in your home today, you can feel free to light that for anything going on in your life, or maybe just for the safety of those individuals who are in the care of the emergency shelter over at First Presbyterian. Well, as Amy was showing us earlier, sometimes it is just good to slow down and breathe, to take notice of our breath. I'll offer us into a time of spoken prayer followed by silent meditation that won't be so silent now that I remember that Debbie will be playing for us under that. So it'll be a meditation held by gentle music. So I invite you to take that deep breath. Think about your body. Think about how you're sitting. Think about gravity holding you to this planet. And let your body be quiet. So quiet that you can hear your own heart beating. This rhythm of eternity, or at least of humanity. So quiet that you might hear your own breath coming in and going out. The amazing animation of matter living into being. Let your body be quiet that you might truly hear the fullness of life around us, in us, the stray noises, life unfolding. In this stillness, open your mind and your heart to let free imagination, let all the joys and struggles and gratitudes of a community flow through you. In the silence and peace of this moment, each in our own place, but connected through the strong bonds of community, of relationship, and of love. We give thanks for the abundance of life, for our capacity to love and to be loved. We deeply believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person and in the unity of creation. We affirm that life is a blessing. We rededicate ourselves to living life day in, day out with each other's help, with integrity, with hope, and with compassion. We're lucky this morning to have Delaney Mock splitting the sermon time and offering her reflections on metaphor and meaning and what's under the surface. Delaney?
Hi. I thought Scott was doing the prayer. So now I'm confused.
We did, yeah. Maybe it wasn't. I think we're good. You're up.
Why am I up? I'm really confused.
I'm sorry if it wasn't clear. So you're up for your reflection.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I was doing the prayer. I was really confused.
No.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Good morning. My name is Lainey Mock, and you probably know me from choir or RE or maybe even from worship, all of which are why I'm here today. What is a metaphor? It's a form of language that compares similar things without using like or as. One of my favorite metaphors, and probably the most famous metaphor, comes from William Shakespeare's play As You Like It, where the world is described as a stage. In the monologue delivered by the character Jacques, he declares that all of the world is a stage and all the men and women are merely players. This metaphorical comparison presents life as a theatrical performance, with individuals playing various roles throughout their existence. It suggests that people go through different stages in life, each akin to acts in a play, with roles such as the infant, the lover, the soldier, the justice, and ultimately the one who experiences the last scene of all. Shakespeare's metaphor captures the transient nature of human existence and the idea that individuals play distinct parts as they navigate the stages of life's grand theatrical production. basically saying that how we act and what we say are all somewhat scripted. Taking a deeper look into metaphor as we see how what we say can have so much more meaning than what we see on the surface. Metaphors allow us to explain what we mean by providing a familiar context or image to represent something less tangible or more complex. When we use a metaphor we draw parallels from between two seemingly unrelated things, making it easier for others to grasp and comprehend the intended meaning. By likening an abstract concept or to something more concrete or well known, metaphors create a bridge of understanding. For example, saying time is a thief conveys the idea that time takes away things without explicitly stating it. This comparison makes the concept of time's impact more relatable and vivid. Metaphors tap into our shared cultural experience and common knowledge, making communication more accessible and engaging. They enhance depth of expression, invoke emotions, and enable us to convey intricate ideas in a concise and memorable way. Metaphors act as a mental shortcut, facilitating communication and aiding comprehension by leveraging familiar association. And then there's metaphors at a basic level, where a metaphor involves comparing one thing to another, creating a connection that goes beyond a literal interpretation. The figurative language adds depth and complexity to communication. Complexity. How do I say that word? I'm sorry. Allowing for a more nuanced and vivid expression of ideas. Metaphors tap into our shared cultural experiences, invoking a wealth of associations and emotions. They often draw familiar imagery, archetypes, or experiences that resonate with a broad audience, enhancing the accessibility or relatability of the message. This shared understanding allows metaphors to convey rich layers of meaning in a concise and efficient manner. Moreover, metaphors can invoke sensory or emotional responses, making the communication more memorable and impactful. By linking abstract concept to manner to something concrete and familiar, metaphors create a mental image or experience that lingers in the mind. The aspect of metaphorical language makes it particularly effective in literature, poetry, and in a rhetorical sense, where the goal is often not just to convey the information, but to elicit a deeper response from the audience. Speaking of which, the concept of God is often viewed as a metaphor, particularly in the context of religion and philosophical discussions. In this perspective, the term God serves as a symbolic representation of a profound and abstract ideas, rather than a literal anthropomorphic deity. People may use the concept of God as a metaphor to express and grapple with the mysteries of existence, the source of morality, or the ultimate purpose in life. For example, some see God as a metaphor for the interconnectedness of all things, the underlying unity of the universe, or a representation of transcendent values and ideals. Others may consider God a metaphor for the human capacity for love, compassion, which operates on multiple levels, engaging with both intellectual and emotional facets of understanding. In these interpretations, God becomes a symbolic language to articulate and explore concepts that might otherwise be challenging to express directly. It's essential to note that the understanding of God varies greatly among individuals and across different religions and philosophical traditions. While some perceive God as a literal entity, others adopt a metaphorical interpretation to convey deeper, more abstract aspects of human experience and existence. Reverend Scott will go more into detail with that now. Thank you for your time.
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Child's face, say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Well, there's this Sunday school class happening, and there was this little girl over in the corner working ever so diligently and carefully on her picture. And the Sunday school teacher wonders what's going on because she's not doing the regular Sunday school stuff, and she goes over and she says, what are you doing? That looks really interesting and fascinating there. Lots of colors and lots of swirls. What is that? He said, this is a picture of God. The Sunday school teacher says, isn't that nice? But actually, no one knows what God looks like. And the little girl looks at her and said, that's because I'm not done drawing it yet. Lainey talked earlier about the function of metaphor. And metaphor can be really important when we're talking about God. And so we will get through it, whether we need Meta 3, Meta 4, or Meta 5. I couldn't remember if jokes work on Zoom or not. I don't know. Maybe Jayla liked it. So humans, we tend to admit across the religious spectrum, all the major world traditions agree that you can't fully know or speak of God. There's something inherently undescribable about this concept of God, that anything we might present of God is just a glimpse of this reality. But that doesn't keep humans from trying. And last month, when mystery was our theme, we talked about holding that space for the mystery and not needing to explain it away. And yet there's something that for many humans over religious history compels us to do our best to try and describe what God is. And I think even a biblical literalist would have to concede or agree that metaphor is inherent and an absolute part of talking about God, because there are just things we, as Amy said in our Time for All Ages, God is not something that you can see or feel or smell. And so because of that, we turn to symbol and we turn to metaphor. So God's an abstract idea like beauty or love, but just way more abstract. Rudolf Otto, who is a German Lutheran theologian, says that the divine or the holy or the sacred, all these things, these ideas, are the expression of the innate in man of this religious instinct and a divinizing disposition. Isn't that an interesting phrase? A divinizing disposition, the way we are oriented to want to explain the divine because of our religious instinct. And this tends to have a consciousness itself, but it's obscure and irrational because it can't be reduced to reason or concepts. And so when we want to express it, we have no choice but to resort to, again, as we heard in the Time for All Ages, images or paradox or symbol or representations or metaphor. The nirvana of Buddhism and the nothing of the Christian mystic are negative and positive notions at the very same time. So they're inherently non-logical. So we're using a different part of our brains in our religious lives, especially as Unitarian Universalists, that we're grounded in science and reason. And this is a place where we start to get a little more poetic and metaphoric when we talk about concepts of ultimate reality. So this approach of metaphor allows us to access what is immediately unavailable to us in our physical world, to suggest what is ineffable. You can't point to God definitively, so this is the work of poetry and imagination. And I love the old saying that the finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. And so it's important to understand the function of that finger which points us to the beautiful moon, but not lose ourselves to think that the metaphor would be God. It's just a tool. It's a function, as Lainey shared with us, to have us create an experience, she said. Sometimes the metaphors remain open, and other times in religious history, those metaphors turn into some kind of orthodox thinking. We all have a range of religious pasts here, and I know that a lot of us grew up in that kind of orthodox thinking. But this idea of leaning into to metaphors. Marcia McPhee is a Methodist worship creator that I had the good fortune to go on a worship retreat with many years ago. And she said, it is an important function of religious people to do metaphoraging. That as religious people, we are metaphoragers, always looking and exploring for new ways to explain what is this beautiful and mysterious reality that we live in. Karen Armstrong wrote just simply an amazing book, A History of God, the 4,000-year quest of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And in that book, she said a symbol can be defined as an object or a notion that we can perceive with our senses or grasp with our minds, but not in which we see something other than itself. Reason alone will not enable us to perceive the special, the universal, or the eternal in a particular temporal object. That is the task of the creative imagination, to which mystics, like artists, attribute their insights. And if we then accept that to talk about God is to use symbol, then we can use these symbols to describe God and change. When we use these ideas of God are always dependent on those communities and environments in which they were formed. Karen Armstrong goes on, the idea of God formed in one generation by one set of human beings could be meaningless in another. Indeed, the statement, I believe in God, has no objective meaning as such, but like any other statement, only means something in context when proclaimed by a particular community. Consequently, there's no one unchanging idea containing the word God. Instead, the word contains a whole spectrum of meanings, some of which are contradictory or even mutually exclusive. Had the notion of God not had this flexibility, she writes, it would not have survived to become one of the great human ideas. So she is inviting us to consider that it is the exact reason that ideas of God can be so flexible, so malleable, that can contain paradox and mutually exclusive meanings and a whole wide spectrum of meanings, has been the exact thing that has kept the idea of God with religious people for so long, over those 4,000 years. I was raised in a Christian home, so a lot of my images come from the Judeo-Christian tradition, and I learned of God from the Bible, who was, of course we know, a mess of contradictions, loving one minute, smiting the next, an angry God, a tender God, an all-knowing, omnipotent God, creator, judge, redeemer, loving, vengeful, a protector. He was banishing people from gardens, causing floods, guiding his chosen people, and showing up in very unlikely places like plants on fire and a carpenter in Nazareth. And yes, he was quite male, that God. He was God the Father, and troubling enough, sometimes God the Son. It took me a while to unhook my ideas of this and invite in this wonderful world of metaphor and poetry into my ideas of what God is or could be. Give me a metaphor, give me abstract mystery and poetry. The Roman Catholic priest James Kavanaugh writes, I have lost my easy God, the one whose name I knew since childhood. I knew his temper, his sullen outrage, his ritual forgiveness. I never told him how he frightened me, how he followed me as a child when I played with friends or begged for candy on Halloween. He was unchanging, omnipotent, all-seeing. I was volatile and helpless, and now he haunts me seldom. Some fierce umbilical is broken. I live with my own fragile hopes and sudden rising despair. Now I do not weep for my sins. I have learned to love them and to know that they are the wounds that make love real. Now my God, my easy God, is gone. He knew too much to be real. He talked too much to listen. My easy God is gone, and in his stead, the mystery of loneliness and love. What is left when an easy God is gone is an awareness of a God that can exist within the mystery and discovery of who it is that we are and how we are connected to creation, to loneliness, and to love. We are left having to live our lives, having to make choices and decisions about how we will live and toward what purpose we will give our very lives toward. So with or without an easy God, we still have to figure out our place in the family of things. And yes, sometimes it all starts to feel like semantics. And of course, at one level, it is all semantics, but semantics and symbol are important. There have been and will be many metaphors for God, but what are the metaphors pointing toward? At heart, we are all responding to the same thing, the same reality, the same human condition. Whether we claim atheism or theism or agnosticism, Christian, Buddhist, pagan, Muslim, religions are responding to the same thing, the human condition. We are all responding to the mystery of life and our need for meaning, and metaphors can offer us access to that place. Wordsworth described the spirit which is at one and the same time immanent with us and distinct from us. He writes, a presence that disturbs me with the joy of elevated thoughts, a sense sublime of something far more deeply infused, whose dwelling is the light of setting suns, and the round ocean, and the living air, and the blue sky, and the minds of people, a motion and a spirit that impels all thinking things, all objects of all thought, all rolls through these things. So it is my hope that we might all find meaning in this world and call it what we will, using metaphor and poetry and symbolism. May words help us illuminate the truth rather than divide us or confuse us. May we not get lost in language, but be found through this created experience. May we be blessed with moments of self-transcendence. May we all know peace, and of course, metaphors be with you.
In the rain, blinded, I'll show you that way back home. But don't you worry, 'cause I've been with you all along.
Oh, I ain't worried, 'cause I can feel it, 'cause I can feel it. Yeah, they said it's hard to really see it, and the reason why we living. Don't chase it with your eyes, can recognize it till it's given. The world in front of me became the molding of my vision. The pain that came to me is what I blame in my decisions. How can I find the courage when my heart is feeling missing? How do I find a time when I know that the clock is ticking? I'm a soldier for this love is guaranteed to be my mission. Wish I could find it easy like I see it in the children. Hey, looking back as I move forward, Sankofa, I want a love that explodes, call it a supernova. What it takes to reach the heavens, let me stand closer. Put the pieces all together, witness Jehovah. God is patient with his son, he plant the seed and let it grow. When I love it unconditional, I learn to let it go. Open your arms, what I'm talking about. Without a doubt, I can feel the love reaching out.
Love reaches out. My love reaches out. Love reaches out. Love reaches out.
My love reaches out. Can you feel it? Yeah. I'm never giving up, I'm keeping cool, I'm in control. My praise, I give it up, a higher power's in control. This light is guiding me, I'm on with everything I know. This love is getting closer, I can feel it in my soul. Long as I am living, I still got the time to show the patience that was given from the ones that let me grow. Forgive me for debating back and forth to and fro. This love is reaching out, I'm giving it to you and yours. Walk with me in solidarity. My sanctuary eases my disparity. When I look into your eyes, I'm looking carefully. What do you know? There is me. No more questioning the things that I can never see. Touch, taste, smell, hear, no more mystery. Just a faith that's stronger than my pain and misery. I found it in myself and it will forever be. The breath of love that gave me the breath of life. A breath of lost spirits, give it back and I energize. If I never take another, let my voice come and speak it out. And give you the feeling of love reaching out.
Love reaches out. speak over your soul. Love opens doors without a key. He falls through patience and honesty. Trust love and just let it be. Feel the power of love between you and me. Between you and me. Between you and me. Feel the power of love between you and me. Love reaches out.
Can you feel it now?
My love reaches out.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it now?
My love reaches out. Love reaches out. When it's cold outside, my love gonna reach out and warm your soul.
I think next up is covenant and benediction, right?
Chayla, you lit our chalice this morning. Can you reach behind you there and extinguish it?
Oh.
Uh-oh. Lost our covenant.
We lost our covenant.
It is extinguished.
Oh, Zach, okay. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
So we invite you all to stay if you'd like. If you're cold and wanting some fellowship, since you can't get outdoors very easy, we're going to open up our breakout rooms after a little bit of time after the service. If you would prefer to go get that warm drink now instead, just be sure to log off, but we'll just to see each other's faces and to say hello to one another after this service. Another one of those COVID era time holdovers. Well, we're grateful you all were here today in this, well, I guess it's not unusual because we've done it before, but it is returning to it again. And it's good to be able to be together. Out of all the metaphors of God, one that is often used, maybe the most, is that God is love. That is a fine and good metaphor and something that we can aspire to as religious people. And as love reaches out, and if that love is to be God, may we be doing the work of God in the world. Go in peace and go with love.